So there's so many people that think I have a cool job. And because I do my job all the time, I don't look at it as something cool. To me, the gentleman sitting next to me has a cool job, but I don't know that he thinks it's cool. So next to me is John Briney for IGY6 Investigations.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so to me, from the outside, what a cool job to do, for lack of a better word, security, investigations, um, basically protection services. And obviously, most protection services are going to be done for celebrities or people who don't want to mention their names. I think that's kind of cool job. My job I've been doing for 34 years. It's all right. I mean, it's a job. It's a job.
All jobs are cool if you love what you're doing.
Well, you know what? When I was growing up, I loved to cook. And my parents said, "You should be a chef." I'm like, if I'm a chef, then I won't enjoy it anymore. Okay? You want to do it for fun.
Right.
Okay? So you came off of, you were a detective?
I was.
Okay. Where?
I was a detective in Barron County, Michigan for 20 years. I retired after 26 and a half years and moved to Florida.
Okay, so let's just set the record straight here. So he's been around this security type thing for many, many moons.
Yes.
And it's not easy.
No.
You got shot in the line of duty?
Yes.
Okay. That's how difficult it is. Now, I can sit across from him because he was the one that was shot, not me.
Yes.
Not me. But it's still, to other people, we look at it and say, oh my God, how cool. Not that you got shot, but you're still here.
Right.
Okay? And that's the blessing.
Absolutely.
So, why did you decide to open IGY6?
Basically, because I'm doing what I loved. I loved being a detective, and when I retired, I wanted to keep being a detective. And I did want to start from ground zero again at a different police department, so I wound up opening up my investigative agency so I can still help people. I love helping people.
So, I mean, is it as exciting as it was being a detective?
It's rewarding. It's not really exciting like you see on TV. There is a lot of hours of surveillance where nothing is happening, and you can't script it like a Hollywood show because there's a lot of downtime and a lot of
Right.
surveillance to get what you need.
And we edit those out.
Right.
That's how we edit that out because otherwise people wouldn't watch it, get too boring.
Right.
All right, so you decide to do this. You already had experience in it.
Yes.
My next question is, did you get family support?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I think that's what makes a business successful is the support that's around you. And when I say family support, it doesn't have to be your mom, your wife, your brother. It could be people that you're close with. Most people, like when I started this, it was an industry that didn't exist, and I got, don't be stupid, get a real job. It's a pipe dream. Made it a little more difficult. But the more they said that, the harder I was going to prove them wrong.
Right.
I was going to prove them wrong.
Right.
So, what do you do within your company? So, what does your company do? What parts of investigations and stuff do you do?
I do a wide range of investigations. I do a lot of family issues, child custody issues, marital issues. I also do a lot of background. I have also worked for insurance companies on fraud cases, and I do a lot of background investigations for employers that have want backgrounds on their future employees to see if they meet the criteria and are a good fit for their company. So I do a wide range of investigations. But the family issues, I more or less pick and choose the family issues. I want to make sure I'm helping the right person. If there's somebody abusing a child, I'm definitely not going to take that case to help them get custody.
Right.
So that's why I say it's rewarding.
Okay, so we got to get past this one question because I know that everybody out there is always thinking the same thing. So, how many cases do you take on um, finding cheaters?
Those are pretty prevalent.
Are they?
Yes, they are. They're pretty prevalent. Um, it's to the you can have as many cases as you want, unfortunately, but I can't say that all of them are bona fide. Some of them are speculation or paranoia on the person that hires me. So I'm confirming that the person is not,
Right.
which helps them as well.
Okay, so therein lies, is it worth it if you think that the person's cheating on you? Is it worth it to kind of hire, and I don't want to take away from you, is it worth it to kind of hire somebody, or is already the trust gone? And you know we need to rethink the relationship?
That is individual. There have been some people that, you know, for sure say, if I find him or her cheating, I'm done. So to have them continue on with their life knowing that answer is a good thing for them. But the people that get reassured, yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question because the ones that I confirm that they're really not, I think the trust is gone as well.
Right. I remember when I moved to Florida, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was doing surveillance cameras and stuff like that. And then people were asking me to set up phone type for their wives or their husbands or whatever. And I'm like thinking, if I have to get to that point, maybe it's just not right.
Right.
Maybe it's just not right. But then again, if I do that and I find that they're not, then who's the bad guy? Me,
Right.
for thinking that scenario,
Sure.
you know? So that kind of like is kind of a sliding scale, sliding,
It really is.
you know? I don't know what the answer is. The answer is if you got to that point, should you just end the relationship,
Right.
okay, or not? Now, of course, they made a whole TV show about it, okay, because they make a whole TV show about everything
Sure.
today. Um, but you only see the highlights, and I'm going to guess if you're doing any of that kind of surveillance stuff, like you said, there's times you can sit there for hours, days with nothing.
Absolutely.
So, how do you not go crazy?
Um, it's that's kind of a hard question. I have a lot of paperwork that I have to do anyway, so if
Okay.
I get some downtime, I can catch up on paperwork and I still have the
In your
cameras
car.
rolling. Yes.
And it's interesting. So, you've been doing this a long time. Have you seen a lot of changes in the industry?
Absolutely. Technology, some of the technology that I have is very modern, and I can get surveillance. I don't have to be on top of somebody. I can be several hundred yards away, uh, so helps me go undetected, and I can still count the hairs on their head. So it's very good technology in that aspect. The video and photographs and stuff that I have are GPS, time, date stamped, so people know that yes, I'm here at this time and date, and this is actually happening. So it's good, conclusive materials for the people.
Are there any jobs within what you do that you say, "Ugh, I can't believe it, I don't want to do it"?
Yes,
Okay.
and like I said, when if I find out that a person is hiring me to get custody of their child and come to find out through my investigation that they're abusing a child, I cannot go forward with that.
And I guess you're under strict guidelines of confidentiality about a lot of stuff that you do.
It's everything I do is under confidentiality, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize. Um, but it's equivalent in my opinion, to attorney-client privilege.
Is it really?
It's literally illegal for me to divulge any investigation that I have. If you hired me, I cannot divulge it unless I have your written permission to divulge that information to another person.
Okay, so let's take this scenario. I hire you to follow or look at person B for whatever reason. You then take pictures, you have some recordings, the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
Now we go to court. I guess at that point, it's okay for you to divulge?
Yes, and that's understood up front by the client because under discovery rules of court, that has to be given to the other side, and I have to reveal it then. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any, like, I always thought that, because I used to put up surveillance cameras and stuff, I always thought you can put a camera up, but you can't record audio.
You cannot record audio in the state of Florida unless both parties are consenting.
Okay.
That's correct.
So, what's interesting, because we have a podcast room, so if we make a call and say, hey, you're on this podcast, is that them consenting, or does someone have to have something in writing that they said no?
No, the consent is inferred. You're telling them you're on a phone call with a radio station, and it's inferred that it probably is going to be recorded.
Okay, let's move past that kind of stuff, and let's talk about getting off the investigations. Let's talk about the security end of your company. So, do you do, and I'm using the wrong words because I'm stupid when it comes to this, do you do what I would call basic security, meaning, hey, I'm building a building, I'm renovating a building, and they come in at night and steal my stuff? Can we hire someone like you to stay at that building and make sure that the stuff that we bring there is not stolen?
No, I consult, and what I do is I go in and consult with them and ask them if I can put up cameras to do video surveillance. That I will do, and I work with companies that put that equipment up for me, and I also work with, if they want an actual person there, I work with local security companies that will actually put bodies there to do security. So my security end of my company is more consulting than anything.
Well, and I also know that when it comes to security, you do one-on-one, I guess, security protection.
Yes.
Okay, for people unlike me that probably can afford it.
Yes.
Okay, you're surely not going to kidnap my kid, because if you ask me for $5, you'll overdraw my account.
Right.
Okay, so that's not going to happen. So my kid is pretty safe. So I don't want to talk about any specific person, but I'm going to guess, because you're dealing with the upper echelon of people, does that take you everywhere?
Yes, it can. It has taken me across state lines. It has taken me especially all over Florida. But if I go across state lines, I work with a company that goes global as well.
Yeah, and that was where we were leading. So if they're going to Georgia for an event, let's just say they're singers, and they're going to Georgia, they live in Florida, hired you in Florida, but the event is in Georgia. Can you go to Georgia with them?
Yes, I can go there.
Okay.
Once I get there, I need to get a company in Georgia that's licensed as well to help me, assist me on that. But yes.
It's interesting, because you've been around the industry for so long, and there's been so many changes, and surely I understand the technology change because we're in the technology space. But though the technology helps you, does it force you, for lack of a better word, to increase what you charge because you're buying this new technology?
Yes, unfortunately, that gets relayed to the client as well.
Yeah,
Depending
always
on
does.
if they want the service and want the technology that goes with it, unfortunately, the fees get passed along to the client. But that's known up front.
Yeah, and I would think it would be. Is and I'm not asking you dollar numbers, but I guess if someone asks you to, they want some information on this person, let's go back to that they're cheating on them, and it's not only the only case, but is it billed like per day?
It's per hour and
Per hour.
expenses, yes.
Yeah.
Private investigators in Florida get anywhere from $80 to $150 per hour, plus expenses.
But you can, I mean, I'm gonna just take a shot out here that you could probably be on a case for a straight 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it could get quite pricey, and in that 24 hours, it can only be an hour and 15 minutes that has value to the case, right?
Correct.
So it's really, you really got to make sure that what you're doing and the reason you're doing it has the value.
Yes.
So, because we're going to get to the top of our time. So, I have an issue. I call you. I guess we have a consultation first.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And at that point, you'll tell me if something that you'll choose to do.
Yes, we'll make a plan together.
Okay. Man, you've been doing this a long time. So I'll say, hey, is my wife cheating on me? I know she goes out on Tuesday nights and she doesn't come home till 4 in the morning.
Right.
So that gives you a little window there to work with.
Absolutely.
Okay. Will you guide me in, well, Wayne, here's how the best way to do this is why waste your money? You say Tuesday nights, that's when I'm going to go. Is that how that kind of works out?
Absolutely.
And then Wednesday, do you stay in contact with the person that hired you?
At least once a week, I'm in contact with the person. Sometimes even more frequent than that.
So if my wife was cheating on me on that Tuesday night, then really your work could be over Wednesday.
It could be.
Okay. I mean, do we really need a ton of information in that kind of scenario, or is just
No.
the one basic scenario is the
Yes.
basic scenario?
Yes, but sometimes it gets a little bit more tricky because if the person is meeting the supposed lover at a different place, and you don't have the proof that they're actually cheating on them,
Right.
until you get that physical or you get that verbal. If they're out in public, I can record conversations.
Mhm.
If I'm in a public place like a bar or something like that and I'm near them, and you'll hear the I love you or whatever, that you're pretty much good to bring that back to the client.
Okay. Last question before we come to the end. How dangerous is the work you do?
Very. No one wants to get caught cheating. No one wants to get caught, because you've got families at stake. No one wants to get caught doing anything. And when they see in this day and age, when they see a car parked near their house, people get very nervous and they approach you a lot of times. And because Florida is a very gun-friendly state,
Right.
a lot of times they're armed.
Oh, it's unbelievable. John, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, use a professional. And when I say that, especially in this instance, I always say it'll cost you 5 times more in money and 10 times more in frustration if you decide to do it yourself. What he does is not a DIY project, okay? If you have an issue, go to a professional, because it's not just money or frustration, it's your life that could be at risk.
Absolutely.
Everybody, stay safe, and we'll be right back.